Okay, so we've been talking about the area of a parallelogram, and today we're going to switch gears a little bit and we're going to talk about the area of a right triangle. So I would like for you to get out your paper that looks like this, and you're going to need to have this paper and also the exercise paper. You're going to need your scissors and a pencil. So what I would like you to do to begin with, you're going to take your paper and you're going to cut out the square over to the side here. And I'm going to go ahead and cut mine out while I'm waiting on you. And you're going to need to place that right in front of you. So what we're doing is we are figuring out by visual model the area, the formula for the area of a right triangle. So once you're finished, I want you to put that square right in front of you. And then I want you to go ahead and you'll notice that this square looks the same, except you'll notice that there is a right triangle inside that square. Now, it looks to me like this right triangle is half of the square, but I want to be certain, so I'm going to compare it to the square that I already have cut out. So I would like for you to cut the right triangle out, and we are going to see if what I think is true really is true. I think that this right triangle is exactly half of the square. Now, if I put this over top, placing this over top of the square, and I notice I can flip this over, and I've taped mine on, and you can tape yours on too. And I've got half and half makes the whole square. So I know I can make this statement: half of a, can't see that, hold on. Half of a right triangle equals a square. All right, so that gives us an idea of the formula for a right triangle. So the formula for a right triangle is area equals half. So we're referring back to how much of it took up of the square. Half base times height. Or you can also see it written base times height over 2, which means the same thing. Half base times height. So this is the formula that we're going to use, and this is the visual to show you why that works. So half, so when we are finding the area of a square, we do base times height. Well, since the right triangle is half of that, we have to take half base times height. So sometimes we're going to get into some bigger numbers with this, and so you may use a calculator in order to do the ones that are larger numbers. So I give you permission to get your calculator out. So for exercise 1, it says to calculate the area of each triangle below. And then they also put in that caveat that they always say, that it's also not to scale. They've got that in there just so you know that this is not really 8 feet, but I think we can figure that out. All right, so we've got the area equals half of the base, which the base is 15 feet, times the height, which the height is 8 feet. All right? So if we do 15 times 8, now I don't need my calculator for this because I know 8 times 5 is 40, and I know 8 times 10 is 80. And I put that together, and I've got half of 120 feet. And I know half of 120, half of 120 is 60 feet. Now, this isn't just feet. Remember, this is feet squared. All right, so that first one was pretty cut and dry. That first one was pretty simple. All right, didn't need the calculator for that one. So now, if I look at this one though, there was some information that I did not need. I did not need to know this side in order to figure the area. Sometimes they do that, be careful. All right, here we've got area is half base times height. So let me fill that in. So area is half 11 4/10 times the height, which is 17 7/10. So I can take my calculator and I can multiply 11 4/10 times 17 7/10 equals 201 78 tenths. So I've got area is half 201 78 tenths. So then I divide that in half and I get 100. So the area is 189 tenths. Now I have to look back up here at my measurement, centimeters squared. All right. On to number 3. So number 3 is base times height. Now see how they have this all turned. But my base is going to be, remember, perpendicular to my height. So since this is where my square corner is, I know this is the height. So I've got area equals half base times height. Then I just have to plug in my numbers. Half, the base is 8. The height is 6. Basic fact, half of 48. So then my area is 24, look back at my measurement, inches squared. All right. Number 4. Number 4, again, area equals half base times height. So my base is 8 2/3. My pens keep running out. 8 2/3 times my height, which is 5 3/5. All right, so now I cannot multiply this until I change this into improper fractions. So I've got my area is half 26/3. I've got 24, 25, 26. And then I've got 25, 26, 27, 28 fifths. So then I've got to multiply again. I'm going to go ahead and multiply 26 times 28, which gives me 728. So this would be half of 728. And I've got 3 times 5, which is 15. And then I need to take half of that. So if I take half of that, well, yes, if I take half of that, that would be, that to me is going to be confusing. I'm going to go ahead and I want to take this and make this a mixed number. So if I take 428 divided by 15, I know I've got 728 divided by 15 is going to give me 48. 48. So I want to go back then and say, all right, what is 48 times 15? 48 times 15 is 720. So I have 8 left over. So 8/15. So I'm not done yet because I need to take half of that. So if I take half of that, half of 48 is 24. And then half of 8 is 4. And I have my 15ths. So then I have meters squared. All right? So this is how we calculate area for a right triangle. Now, what I would like you to do, I have the problem set uploaded, and I would like for you to try the problem set and then bring it back tomorrow. There are 5 questions. I'd like you to try those, and then we'll go over these together tomorrow, and we'll go from there. All right? So keep thinking, keep watching, and always stay curious. I'll see you tomorrow.